session, because after prelims you will have to prepare for mains, and this time the time is less and lot of things have to be covered. I want to remind that looking at the trend of the papers, we can always say that the paper is not going to be the easier by any reason. They are going to increase the difficulty level, means we have to improve our preparation. And out of so many years of my teaching experience, what I have realized that for all UPSC aspirants, even if you have given exam for like exam previous years, you should consider every single attempt as independent and the first attempt. So those who are doing first attempt, those who are in the second attempt, everything has its pros and cons. Those who are giving for it for the first time, their motivation level must be higher, their confusions are less, but their understanding of the exam may also be less. Those who are appearing again, their experience and understanding can be more, but maybe that the enthusiasm of the first attempt may be missing. So ultimately, the good thing and unique thing about the UPSC exam process is it is a leveling process. UPSC brings everybody to the level, and UPSC also make us realize between what is illusion and what is the reality. So even if you have done anything earlier, you have to start fresh, and there should be freshness in everything. There should be freshness in what you write. There should be freshness in your perspective, because until unless it is not fresh, it is not giving some new breeze, then it is not necessary that examiner is going to develop interest in your writing and give you marks. So now the journey begins, and I believe there is less time to think and more time to act. Action is important, and our results depend upon the choices we make. Fine. So who is our teacher? What is the quality of the content? How is my strategy right now? Lot of choices have to be made. Things are not as difficult as they appear, but they are not as simple also, until and unless you do not understand the rule of the game. Fine. So today, myself and my team, some of the teachers and mentors of the team, they will be interacting with you and will be discussing the strategy. So I will suggest, and regularly I am meeting with the students who have cleared the exam and who have not cleared the exam. So we are coming to know the mistakes which students have done. For example, when students do a test series or crash course, they feel discussion is not important, but discussion is very, very important. There are students who have attended these discussions even in the last day. and have benefited. Then there are some categories of students who believed in just listening to the discussion but not writing. That is also not correct. If I have thought about a process, then until and unless it is your full involvement in the process, it is difficult to produce the results. It is difficult to, because the process should be what? It should be complete process. There has to be an element of trust and positiveness when you do something. So I will tell you the brief strategy which we think is essential. Of course, the exam, you will have to focus on your optional and GS paper as well as your essay paper. There is no section which you can take lightly. Okay. So at times we have met the students because they were good in that paper, so they ignored that paper. They thought they are bad in paper 3, so they invested more time there. No, you have to have a wise strategy. You should work on your strength. Fine. So it's not that you are getting minimum marks or maximum marks. From whichever area you feel that you can get marks, try to extract from there. And if you stick to it, the routine that we will discuss, the approach to which we will discuss, I think you will be very comfortable. First of all, I will suggest all of you to make a list of all those things that make any candidate anxious. So you have 3 months to go. Today you all sit and just think that what is creating anxiety into you, what are certain doubts. Do meet the teachers and the mentors and solve it. क्या चीज आपको परेशान कर रही है? Is it lack of content? Is it inability to write? What is your problem? Try to find it out. And with the simple strategy, quality content, properly organized your time, you can definitely manage this journey in a way that you can expect results. So results come after every action, equal and opposite reaction. So if you will work properly, results come. Don't go for half-hearted and anything that is fake. Fine. So the first thing is going to be your optional, and I believe lucky are those who have political science as an optional, because political science as a master science covers lot many part, and it cannot actually be compartmentalized. So like every year, this year also we will be doing the crash course. As you are aware, in political science crash course, even if any student just focus on crash course notes, that student will be able to get good marks. So crash course is not, the way we do the classes is very different from any other place in the industry. And the crash course is what you have to do in political science. Here we will be covering the previous year questions, and through the previous year questions we will be doing value addition. So finally it is your crash course notes that will matter. So previous year questions and the coverage of the current developments, the expected questions in international relations. Do attempt the tests religiously because you need to write. Look at the toppers' copies. Come and interact with our mentors. Show your copies. You can show your copy to me also. Fine. And then what should be the strategy of a political science student? Because your subject has huge overlap, then you should especially focus on your GS paper 2. For that also, I will be having a special session on polity PYQ, which is PYQ for the namesake, but we also do a lot of current things, and it is going to add tremendous value to your answer in terms of quality. And I think that is holistic. And with me in the polity, there is also a portion, governance portion. Normally in the regular classes, you miss out those portion. Here Bhagwan sir deals with that. So Bhagwan sir has also, like, is very popular among the students because of his mentoring, and he is available to help you and mentor. After that, after my discussion, he will come, he will discuss his approach. And next is ethics. So we have planned that in those few classes, we will be able to bring you at par, in the sense at par not with other candidates, but at par with UPSC's expectations. What should be the answer and how should you write and how to get maximum marks. IR section of crash course GS Polity, there is nothing much to do separately. I believe all pol science students will automatically do that. And yes, one paper you should not neglect is an essay paper, which is a low hanging fruit. And if you regularly write and if you will watch my lectures, you will develop ability to deal with the philosophical essays, and definitely you are going to find that you can write very good answers. And actually, writing philosophical essays is not a burden. You will enjoy writing the process. So we at Shubhra Ranjan IAS Study have designed program, crash courses there. Different subjects in modular format is also there according to your ease. And I will recommend, if you are in Delhi, then you come to the institute, you sit in the library. We will have a focused library exclusively, which is meant for the students who are giving mains. So now Shubhra Ranjan IAS Study also has very good library facility, good environment. You can spend your day here with your peer group who are also preparing. Luckily, we always get very good quality of students, and I really thank God for that. And your company matters. And when you are here in the campus, our mentors are here 24/7 actually. We are here. I myself is here to help. So there is somebody here to support you. We are here to support you in academic sense. In otherwise also the students may feel burdened, they may feel depressed. So it is always better that you have a quality time, proper study in the library. This is what I will recommend personally. Rest is your choice if you think you are more, because at this point we cannot suggest many things. So If you think you are comfortable studying at home, you can do, but make it a point to have an interactions with the mentors. So you can study at home, you can study here. All our courses are in online mode as well as in offline mode. You see what is best for us. Whichever strategy you decide is best for you, we are there to help and support you, because like this year we have kept new targets for ourselves. Last year's result was very exceptional. So every year we used to get 90 to 100 people in the final list. This year our students got 130 plus, and we are committed to increase this number with the effort. And now there is going to be a team effort. There is a single campus. Many things can be done in a much better way. I will recommend that you can follow a timetable, and things can be done very smoothly, where the morning time from first session, let us say, even if you do 8 to 12, you finish your optional, make keynotes, or basically in optional you leave it on me, do the crash course, revise it, and again write same answers, show it to our mentors here. Now you can take a break, and from 2 to 4 I will focus that, or 2 to 4, 6 adjustable. You can study current part, I will say newspaper, which will always be important. And when you are doing current affairs, you are automatically doing your conventional or your basic part, because current is not coming out of the blue moon. It is the part of your foundation, and current is linked. Current is essential. Don't ignore, and just don't think that only by magazines you can do that. From magazines you can get information, but you may not get knowledge which is required. After that, you can again sit for 8 till 12, or you can sit for further 6, 7, whatever is your comfortable. Do GS. Okay. In GS, divide your day. If I had been in your place, the first thing I would have covered, let us say for 7 days, I will finish ethics. I will keep 3 days, 4 days for, let us say, some smaller section, disaster management or internal security. So this is how I will make a plan, and I'll keep on executing. And here, try to have a balance. Some people focus on quantity, some on quality, but UPSC demands a balance of both. And at times, looking at your age and experience, you may not be in a best position to judge what to do, what not to do. And there comes the role of the mentors. In every week, try to write one essay, but unless you don't get it checked and interact with the people who know, the effort also get waste. So if you follow this timetable throughout the day, you can easily manage. In the process, if you are doing classes, you can also take out the time and make adjustments. So here we are offering different modules also. See what is your convenience and accordingly and your need. Now I have also started one exclusive mentorship program for this year mains students. What comprise of this program? You will have, first of all, access to library facility, because I want a student should be in front of my eyes. We will providing you a daily workbook where I will be giving you the task. One question from theory, thought, IR, current affairs, everything. At least you have to finish that task. In a week, I will give you one essay. Now you show it to us. Anywhere if you find difficulty, resolve it. And we have a very special content for current affairs. And if you will do that, there is no reason, and we will ensure that not only you pass, we will make all efforts to keep you all ahead. Fine. So you will get daily this thing. You will get on day-to-day basis this review, and your preparation will be balanced. You will get access to all other courses which you need. It is also like you can get classes online and offline, so it is all comprehensive. So the fees of this program is 36,000 all inclusive. You can watch. This includes, again I am telling, besides this daily mentoring, this program, in daily mentoring we will give you the workbook. We will make your schedule accordingly. You will have my essay classes, tests. You are having Pol Science crash course. You will have GS test series, Pol Science test series, essay test series, and access to all our main specific classes which you want, as well as the material for the current affairs and some ready to use prepared answers that can also reduce your burden. So I hope you have got to know. Tomorrow also we are going to have a workshop at 2 o'clock. So those who want to know more, they are invited. And now I will request Bhagwan sir. Bhagwan sir will come and not just about ethics or governance, internal security he takes, but I will ask him that he also discuss some generic strategy for mains. Besides, if the time permits, I will tell that just tell them how to solve certain case study or anything. So now Bhagwan sir will come, and then if time permits, Rohit sir will also come. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So, hello everyone. कैसे हैं आप सब? So, how many days are remaining for our exam, for our mains examination? Yes. How many days? So, from today, if you count, you'll find that approximately 85 days are remaining. Effectively, if you will see, approximately 80 days. 80 days. Are you getting or not? Now, see, when we see toppers, toppers are not born. Toppers are not born, they are made. Their copies are result of their deliberate hard work and commitment. We have already seen that various toppers, even at this moment, if you will see, they have already a planned strategy for next 80 days. They will be having those. Now, to become topper or to have those scores in your, for example, marks bulletin, what you should be doing in next 80 days, how to plan all of those things, that is in coming 80 days. Let us see that. Now, if you see, we'll find that we have 80 days remaining. 80 days remaining. Now, we have to cover on the very first day. If you will see the real examination, your mains exam, you'll find that on the very first day, you are having what? On very first day, you are having essay. पहले दिन क्या देना है पेपर? First day, you are giving your essay paper, that is from 9 to 12. On the next very day, you are giving GS paper 1 and GS paper 2. And the next very day, you are giving GS paper 3 and GS paper 4. And after a week, for example 5 or 6 days, you'll be having your optional subject paper. Your optional subject paper. Both paper 1 and paper 2. Are you getting? And then language paper, language and optional papers will be there. Now with respect to essay, paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 and paper 4, how to strategize each and everything in coming 80 days. See guys, since you have already given your prelims, we all know that you'll be always be gauging in that what marks I am getting in prelims examination. And there is no point in wasting a lot of time in always wondering what marks I will be getting, because we have already seen in previous year that 3 marks, 3 questions were dropped by UPSC. Even with respect to C-side wala part, you will be finding that, for example, there are variety, that is lot of divergence with respect to coaching institutes answer keys. Are you getting or not? This aspect is always there. So why you guys are wasting your time? Yes, rather you should be focusing upon covering those parts, because anyways you have to attempt someday in some year, you'll be attempting for your mains. So you should not be wasting your time with respect to your, for example, seeing all of these answer keys. Once you have done that, then leave. You start your preparation. First thing is you should be starting immediately now, because time is perfect, and now if you will start, there is a high chances that you'll be getting good score in mains examination. All right, everyone. Yes. Now with respect to how to strategize next few days, for example, now first the topmost priority is your optionals. Topmost priority is your optionals. Now if you will see optionals, you'll find that here also various people waste their time wondering what to do and what not to do. Now since many of you guys are having this PSIR as optionals, so we already have various crash course lined up in our, for example in the modular format. Yes, that is crash course is being there. Now since ma'am has already told you that how to plan those things, how to do optionals, now with respect to that you should be doing. Now immediately start with those things. Do not waste much of your time, and before, for example, prelims result comes, you should be done with some of these portions. You should be done with these portions, some of these portions. मतलब आप पूरी तरीके से उसमें तन्मयता के साथ you are already engaged in that. That is with respect to your optional wala part. And effectively, out of these 80 days, if you will see the how much time will be devoting to this particular subject, if you are devoting for a whole day, for optionals only, effectively you should be giving approximately 30 to 35 days. Now you should not be devoting completely. Now as ma'am said, you should be dividing your time in a whole day with respect to optionals. Yes, for example 4 to 5 hours that you are devoting to the optionals. Yes, and after that you should be doing your current affair wala part and then GS. This is how you should be doing also. That is dividing your day in this manner. This is how you'll be able to complete and also break down that monotonous way of studying. And while doing this, ensure that you are writing the content. That is, you are writing, you are practicing. That is, first element is what? Practice. First element is what? Practice. The next element is what? That is, in this practice, for example, whatever questions you have written, the feedback matters. That is, next aspect is with respect to feedback. And the next aspect is value addition. See, even if you have made very, very good content in a thematic manner, if you have not practiced, if you have not known how to use those things in the examination hall, all of your efforts will be futile. So the focus should be here with respect to in these, for example, in these days, what you should be doing, you should be focusing upon these aspects. That is practice, feedback and value addition. Dear friends, if you see past year trends, you'll find that last year 48 IPS officers gave examination again. For what? For what? They gave this examination to become IAS officer. In what aspect they would be improving? That is, they would be improving on the aspect of answer writing. Various times, even if you see top 50 rankers, these are majority of them. For example, majority of them are from, for example, they have given thrice or 4 times this UPSC examination. They have tried really hard to achieve those top 50 rankers. That means on what aspect? Last year, approximately 71 IRS officers gave examination again to become what? To become IPS or IAS, to improve in their ranks, so that they can achieve their desired services. Now, if you have seen those trends, you'll find that next particular thing is in top 50 rankers. If you will see top 50, there are certain trends there as well. You'll find that there are 4 pillars. For example, if you see 2023 rank list from top 1 to 50, you do this exercise. You'll find that with respect to 2024 mark sheet as well, you'll find that there are four very, very important pillars where we are also focusing, but you should have this consciousness that these are 4 pillars. Little effort here will be making you, that is, for example, making you rank in top 50s. It has that ability. That is with respect to your optional, your GS paper 2, GS paper 4, and your essay. Now see, there is one more trend. That is those papers which are happening in a second half. Those papers which are happening in a second half will find that, for example, second half means 2 to 5. Yes, there is a tendency that we are seeing that UPSC is awarding these marks liberally there. For example, if you will see in ethics paper, for example, Vishakha Yadav has got 162 marks, Medha Anand has got 140 marks. For example, various other students have got 150s, in 150s. Are you getting? For example, if you will see GS paper 2, last year one student got 136 marks. Now that is not the case with respect to paper 3 or paper 1. Are you getting, everyone? Yes. If you will find the trend, you'll find that in last year the highest marks in GS paper 3 was around 99, and for example in paper 1 it was around 110. That means these papers have true potential. See, in first month, for example, in next 30 days, see, covering this ethics paper, some of the portions of your optionals is must. You have to take lead here. You have to take this lead here, and here also, as ma'am said, you have to do this essay paper. You have to see toppers copies. You have to work on your essays, and on a weekly basis, you have to write one essay. See, I will be telling you about the story of Shreya. You'll see that in her first attempt, she got approximately 70 marks in her essay. And this year trend also, brutally beaten by UPSC to all those aspirants who are taking essay very, very lightly. You'll be finding that average marks was around 80 to 85. Have you seen those mark sheet trend this year, 2024? How many of you have seen those trends? Yes. So we have already found out, we have already seen that approximately, that is the average marks, for example, majority of people have got 85 marks, 80 to 85 marks, and some of them have got 130s, but these are very few in number. And similarly, if you will see during the Shreya's time, you'll find that her marks was around 70. In next attempt, she got around 130s. Exponential increase in the marks. But what she did differently in the next attempt, she did all of those things. For example, on a weekly basis, for example, on every Sunday, she wrote all those essays. And for example, 1 to 6 days, for example, in a week, from day number 1 to 6, every day she had this habit of reading topper's copy. To become topper, you'll have to think like a topper. We normally have this tendency that we normally do this average thinking. Now, for example, in UPSC's answer writing, science of answer writing, we normally tease that D-square dimension. That is, diversity and distinct points are always rewarded by UPSC. And similar is the case with respect to essay. your essay paper. Now here, by doing this little effort, you are getting, for example, marks around 130 in your essay paper. For example, even with respect to ethics, see, we have crafted out ethics in 50 themes. 50 themes. 50 theme में पूरी ethics को पिरो दिया है. Now, with respect to these 50 themes, for example, in unit number 1, if you will see, that is ethics and human interface, you'll find that there are various themes, very, very important themes, beyond which UPSC will not be asking any other question. For example, ethics versus value, ethics versus laws, for example, consequences of ethics, for example, top questions on value inculcation. Interlinkages between morality, ethics, values, and attitude, that is MEVA concept. Now, whenever we see these questions, we normally have tendency that what to write. Yes, we normally form these, we have this tendency that we will be writing a generalistic introduction. But what we will be doing in our modular courses, we will be providing you with those themes. Yes, in very short span of time, for example, in 7 to 8 lectures, we'll be covering entire ethics. We will be covering entire ethics. For example, for values, now you will be introducing your values. For example, questions on values will be introducing by, that is, values are something that is very, very important for someone. Yes, that is, it tells regarding the preference. But you should be doing a standard introduction for that. Standard introduction. What are values? That is, for example, whenever there is a question on values, you should always starting by Milton Rokeach. Milton Rokeach says that values are enduring belief, mode of conduct, state of existence that is personally or socially preferable or desirable. Now see, when I'm saying this, the change in MEVA, for example, morality, ethics, values, and attitude. When I say this, that is, the question on change in MEVA comes. Majority of times you have seen how this social attitude could be changed. Now here, 7 factors plays very, very important role. Trial and error, observation taking, role taking, conditioning, prejudices, media, and learning institutions. Now see here. Now if you have seen values, change in values, how this change in values happens, and then provide conclusion in paropkaraya, punyaya, papaya, parpednam, some of those Sanskrit words or some of those taglines or SDGs, that will be sufficing your answer. But there is normal tendency that we normally write in an average note. That is where we are not getting marks. Are you getting or not? So in this aspect we have to improve. For example, in attitude wala topic in unit number 2 as well, here question will be asked, that is how to change from negative attitude toward positive attitude. Yes, they will be asking questions on content plus structure plus functions of attitude, and different types of attitude also. Are you getting or not? And here UPSC has asked about democratic attitude, bureaucratic attitude, moral attitude, political attitude, social attitude. Are you getting or not? So TORC plus PML will be playing very, very important role here. Now if you will see, change from negative to positive attitude, different types of attitude, role of social influence and persuasion, and functions of attitude, beyond which UPSC will not be asking any other question. If you will analyze all these PYQs. Now see, if you will be doing in this thematic format, your life will be very, very easy. And that is where these modular courses will be helping you in providing you content in introduction, body, and conclusion format that will be helping you in the real-time examination. In the keyword format, you will be able to write your answer. So in very less amount of time, you will be able to complete the entire module of that. Are you getting or not? Everyone, sabko samajh mein aa raha hai kya? So this is what we'll be doing. Yes. Now with respect to starting of your optional, you should also take one of these ethics as a module, for example, essay as a module, or some of those smaller portion like governance, internal security, all of those things you should be doing simultaneously. By that, you will be ensuring that you are ahead of majority of other persons. And you ensure that you do 2 times revision. 2 times revision of each and everything, at least 2 times. कम से कम 2 बार तो करना ही पड़ेगा सर, कम से कम मैं बोल रहा हूँ. Yes, at least 2 times revision of each and everything that you are studying. Yes, and ensure that you are writing these tests, is very very important. समझ में आ रहा है क्या सबको? Yes, writing of these tests are very very important, and ensure that you are getting feedback. अब देखिए, sometimes we join that test series where people are not approachable. Yes, and you are not able to get those feedback. Somebody has evaluated and you are getting those sheets, but you are never be able to get what improvement, what value addition I have to do. Now here in Shubhra Ranjan IAS will be ensuring that you are getting personalized mentorship with respect to that what content enrichment that you should be needing, you will be needing. For example, the other day one of the student has come and he was asking regarding, for example, that question on, for example, corruption. So how to introduce that question? So now for corruption only we can introduce in the 3 or 4 dimensions. For example, World Bank definition on corruption, that is use of public offices for the private gain, or World Bank definition like opportunity plus gain minus detection minus penalty, or corruption perception index, or any other definition of corruption. Are you getting or not? So like that you have to strategize, that is preparing your theme in introduction, body and conclusion. Sir, but where to find those themes? Yes, where to find those themes? See, PYQs are here. PYQs will be playing very very important role. PYQs will be playing very very important role here. Yes, everyone, PYQs will be playing very very important role. That is, for example, if you have seen all of those PYQs, you will be breaking those PYQs. You'll find that questions are coming from certain zones and you have to prepare those zones as a theme. And while preparing, for example, in GS paper 1, you'll find that there is no paper being formed without globalization, that is from the society portion. So regarding globalization, you'll be seeing all the questions that has come from the topic of this globalization. Now globalization, regarding globalization, what you are doing, you are analyzing all these PYQs and then modulate your content in such a way that you are giving proper introduction for that, and in the body wala part you are writing various other content, for example, whatever dimension that has been asked by UPSC, and then providing conclusion. Now you should be writing all of those things in a very crisp format so that these are becoming your mains ready notes. Yes, now if you will see, even with respect to GS paper 2, here also with respect to governance portion, you will find that in GS paper 2 there is never a paper being formed without the question on e-governance. So see what kind of questions have been asked from the topic of e-governance, and try to break down those themes in the introduction, body and conclusion format. And in the body wala part, make all those dimensions that has been asked by UPSC as your dimensions in your body wala part. By that, what will happen, you will be structuring your answers and you will know that what to write in the examination. And even if new question will be coming next year, if new question is coming from there, you can always write a good content from the content that you have prepared. Are you getting or not? Then with respect to GS paper 3, you'll find that even with respect to GS paper 3, any portion you will be seeing that you will be finding that majority of question, for example, from the economy portion also, for example, various themes are there. For example, one of the very very important theme is with respect to financial inclusion. Now if you will see Shubham Kumar's note, you'll find that how he has done, he has written all the questions from the financial inclusion and then divided into the introduction, body and conclusion part, and then he has tried to break down each and every question in the body wala part and wrote about all of them in some, for example, some format. And then that is, for example, how OECD has defined financial inclusion, introduction, some substantiation with respect to those introduction, and then in body wala part how he has done that for whatever question UPSC has asked, he has made dimensions for that. what question UPSC can ask. Then in those aspects also he has made certain some short crisp notes, and then made his notes in the introduction, body and conclusion format, and that is how you should be doing. समझ में आ रहा है क्या everyone? Yes, सबको समझ में आ रहा है क्या? Yes, this is how you should be doing. Even with respect to GS paper 4, you should be doing the same thing. So this is the process. For example, if you will see from GS paper 4, unit number 4, you'll find that questions are being asked from the emotional intelligence. So they are asking majorly, you'll be seeing that they are asking, for example, in EI, they are asking IQ versus EQ. They are asking how to apply this EQ in the administration. Then what they are asking with respect to other portions also, that is with respect to how to apply this EI. Yes, how to apply this EI. Now if you have seen that, you have to prepare your content in the format of introduction, body and conclusion. What is EI? Then you will be memorizing that is Daniel Goleman has given the definition. Now in the body wala part, you will be making all of these as a dimensions, and then providing a proper conclusion from the Aristotle or some other philosophers. This is how you should be strategizing, preparing your content as a mains ready notes with respect to each and every portions. Are you getting, everyone? Sabko samajh mein aa raha hai kya? This is how you should be doing. Yes, everyone. So now for your entire day, at least आपको ये इंश्योर करना है that is you are studying for at least 11 to 12 hours. See here, it's a fight of 1 marks. Even for example, those students who have written their mains earlier also, and they have missed marks by, for example, their mains by 30 or 35 marks or 50 marks. What they have to do? They have to just improve 1 marks with respect to each and every question, and that is very, very easily done, and that is what being done by various toppers. But until and unless you are not writing those things, you will not be able to find what mistakes I am doing. So this is how you should be doing and preparing for the next couple of days. See, give your best and write your test. Prepare. Now whatever test you are giving, treat these tests as a UPSC examination. Yes. For example, there was one student, the rank was in 150, that name was Archit, and he told that, sir, in the first, for example, in first month, I revised whatever I studied, and then I started writing, and I ended up in writing, for example, I started with 1 paper per day, and then, for example, in the later times, I started with 2 papers, and then my brother told me that you have to write approximately 6 hours. Then I started writing for 9 hours. So this much hard work you should be giving if you are first attempter. आप इसके लिए ready रहना है, आप लोग को ready रहना है. This is how we have strategized each and everything for your UPSC examination. With respect to each and every paper I have talked about. Do let me know if you have any special queries, and rest Samarpan sir will be taking the next part of the strategy session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. So first of all, those of you who are scoring good enough to write mains, congratulations. You are few chosen ones. I just want to quickly discuss how you should approach your next few 80 days and get at least a call for interview and get selected also. So the first thing, as ma'am has also discussed and Satya sir also, Bhagwan sir also discussed, you have to write and write. The reading part was till before prelims. Now the main focus should be on writing, because whatever knowledge you have accumulated it will not benefit you, it will not be enough if you are not able to reproduce it in your answers. And as ma'am says, mains answer writing is both arts and science. It is both an art and a science. Why it is an art? You need to have good presentation. You need to have good structure. You need to have organic flow to your answers. And you need to have, along with this, good content. Plus good contextual understanding. Sometimes we just read the question and we believe that we'll just see the keyword without understanding what is the core demand of the question. What are the implicit as well as explicit demand of the question. So all these things comes after a lot of practice. Now you might ask, how much practice is enough? If I talk about 2024 to 2014, each year 80 questions are given in the general studies paper. If we don't even count the essay paper, let's take GS paper. So 80 into 10, that amounts to 800 questions. If we talk about the optional paper from 2014 to 2024 to 14, there are 28 questions in 1 year in one paper, right? There are 8 questions in 1 and 5. We have 5 questions, and in 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, we have 3 questions. So that comes out to be 28 questions. There are 2 papers, so that comes out to be 56 questions. And if we take 10 years, that comes out to be 560 questions. Okay? Now, 560 questions for optional plus 800 questions for general studies. That comes out to be around, let's say, 1300 questions. You need to have a grasp over each and every of these questions. I can guarantee somebody who has written all these questions, has written answer to all these questions, the person should get good marks. And when I say right, I don't mean university right. I mean UPSC right. You write an answer, you get it evaluated, you understand the lacunas in your answer, you rewrite it. In this manner, when you write all the answers, I don't know why there would be any reason that you will not get good marks. Now, the question might come कि मैं 1300 सवाल लिख तो लूंगा या लिख तो लूंगी, but who is going to evaluate these? Right? So, as ma'am discussed, in our political science and international relations crash course and test series, this is inbuilt feature where every single question will not only be checked and evaluated by our mentors, but also be discussed if you write it. Now, along with this, we have 8 tests in the crash course. Every single test you can come and you can discuss with our mentors, with our team. Having said that, you might wonder that I have written the test series, I have received the comments, why I need to discuss it. Let me give you an analogy. When we buy a bike, we get the manual with that. But can you repair that bike yourself by reading the manual? I believe not. उसके लिए hands on experience होना पड़ता है. So when I say, let's say you have written an answer and the comment is, your introduction is too long, you need to make it short. Now you know that this comment is telling you to make your introduction short, the question arises, how would you do it? Right? Somebody who has written mains, somebody who has given interview can only tell, or somebody who is an expert can only tell how this can be done. That is why personal one-to-one mentorship is the one of the most important aspect, and should be one of the most important aspect of any preparation. Now, when we talk about general studies, I believe in the same philosophy. If somebody is not telling you what the comments on your answers mean, the mistakes you are committing should not get repeated again and again. Till then, you cannot improve. Till then, your answers quality will remain poor or mediocre, at best. Let me give you one more example. There was a question last year on the electoral reform, and in that question, they had also said discuss it in particular context of one nation and one election. Everybody knows about simultaneous elections. You must remember all the reports which are there regarding the simultaneous elections. The recent one being headed by the Honorable former President Ramnath Kovind. But that question was not only about one nation, one election. That question was not only about simultaneous elections. That question was about electoral reforms. This was the keyword of that question. This was the keyword. And when I tell a student to write an answer for this question, they ignore this part and completely focus on one nation, one election. You would not get marks if you do these kind of mistakes in your answer writing. Let me come to the pol science. There was a question that basic structure doctrine was implicit in the constitution. It was made explicit by the Supreme Court. Discuss. This is a PYQ. Basic structure doctrine was implicit. It was only made explicit by the Supreme Court. Discuss. Now you would write basic structure doctrine is this, it is that, it has been criticized this way, it has been praised this way. But if you write this answer, you will miss the demand. What is the demand? You have to prove, you have to show that before Keshwanand Bharati case, basic structure doctrine was there present in some context or other context. So Dietrich Conrad, who was a German political science, had given a lecture, and on that lecture Suhrit Parthasarathi has written an article in 2019 in The Hindu, and in that article, along with the headline, there was a sub headline, or there was a line which was written. This question was directly from there. What you have to tell here, or what that article mentioned, first, how it was implicit. The article argued that the word amendment itself, which is in article 368, itself gives limited scope. Amendment does not mean destroy. Amendment only means addition, deletion, and repeal, etc. That is the first. That was the first argument. The second argument is, since the parliament is a creature of the constitution, it cannot have any power which destroy the character of the constitution. This is how it was implicit. And the third argument was that even before 1973, there were some things which could not be destroyed, which could not be changed, and it was argued in this article by through Dietrich Conrad by Suhrit Parthasarathi that if Article 21 was there or Article 1 was there, could you amend these articles and take away the rights of your citizens? You could not do that. You could not amend Article 1 in that manner whereby you give away some territory to some other country, or you say that from now on India is a colony. You could not do that. All these things show that basic structure doctrine was implicit in the constitution. But The people, when they come to me and then they show me the answer, they talk about everything but the core demand of the question. Similarly, when we talk about paper 2, there has been a repeated question there regarding comparative methods. They don't differentiate between comparative politics as a discipline and comparative methods as one of the methods other than the scientific method, other than the experimental method, other than the statistical method. And they keep on writing about comparative politics in a question which is about comparative method. So these mistakes cost you. If there is a question in the exam hall and you misinterpret the demand of that question, the examiner will have a feeling that you have only shallow knowledge. The examiner will think that this person did not know anything, and this will cost you. So we need to ensure that, first of all, in an answer, there is good content. When would this good content come? When we will study. The second thing is, you understand or you know the context of the answer, why this is needed, so that you can give the implicit or you can address the implicit and explicit both kind of demand. So, for example, if we talk about a question on, let's say, poverty, or for that matter unemployment, and if the question is that, do you think India is going through, or in India there is a persistent structural employment issue, and you say yes I think, or you give argument in support of it and you give argument against it, and you end the question here, your answer is incomplete. Why? Because if we are talking about an issue, a problem, then you will need to give some solutions for it, even if it is asked or not asked. These minor things are needed to improve your score. I'll give you one more example. What other things are needed? We talk about diagrams, we talk about maps, that you need to make maps, you need to make diagrams, but do we understand that where they can be made? One of the student, and this was done by one of my students, there was a question as to how women participation increased with the coming of Mahatma Gandhi into the Indian national movement. Everybody wrote answers and everybody got average marks because everybody had the same point. But there was one student who made a graph in this. The person showed that before Gandhi, the participation was, let's say, here. Gandhi came during NCM, right? Then came CDM, then came Quit India movement, and every single time the participation of women increased, right? This innovation is needed to write answers. Then we talk about substantiation part. We all keep on talking about, you need to give examples, you need to give substantiations. We do not understand how to do that. Let's say we are writing an answer in GS paper 2 on constitutional morality. If we are not substantiating this answer with enough case law, then this answer is incomplete. Similarly, if we are talking about, let's say, international relations, and we are talking about realist theory of international relations, then if we are not giving examples from current events around the world, then the answer is incomplete. So I generally tell students that in theory part, try to bring examples from current, and the questions which are from current, bring theory. You read functionalist theory, you read realist theory, you read new liberal theory in IR. when you talk about all these theories, when these theories are asked, try to give examples from current affairs. And when you talk about questions which are there from the current events, current happenings, then try to link it with theory. But that does not come in one day. That comes with enough practice. How much practice is needed? 1300 questions of the GS and the optional plus test series. Only then you will be able to write a good answer. This is the importance of the mentorship or the hand holding approach. Ma'am must have told you about or Bhagwan sir must have told you about this exclusive guidance program. In this, we have general studies test series plus mentorship. And you know what is the beauty of this test series? That it is tailored according to your needs. You might be studying GS4 right now, or you might be studying GS3. But if I tell you I have this schedule of my test series and you can only give this test, it will not be very helpful to your preparation, because right now you are prepared for GS4, you needed some test for GS4. We ensure that your entire syllabus is covered in the given time period through this test series plus mentorship plus PYQ, and it is done in a hand holding manner. If you are studying GS4 today, I'll tell you, you complete this topic and next test is going to be for GS4, what you have studied from that. Our team gives you daily target. I generally say that right now what is needed is 250 hours of answer writing practice. 250 घंटे अगर अगले 80 दिन लिख लोगे तो सिलेक्शन हो जाएगा. मतलब 3 घंटे रोज. कब 3 घंटे? 1 घंटा सुबह, 1 घंटा दोपहर, 1 घंटा शाम. और आंसर राइटिंग का इनर्शिया तोड़ने का एक ही तरीका है. क्या? डू आंसर राइटिंग. सवाल उठाओ, नहीं आ रहा कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बट लिखना है. क्या लिखना है? मूवी की स्टोरी लिखो, पर लिखो. क्यों? इनर्शिया तोड़ना है. राइटिंग इनर्शिया नीड्स टू बी ब्रोकन, बिकॉज तुम पढ़ते रह जाओगे और लिखोगे नहीं. ये भी पढ़ लेता हूं, वो भी पढ़ लेता हूं, और आंसर राइटिंग का जब नंबर आएगा तो भागोगे, बचोगे. इसलिए टारगेट बहुत जरूरी है कि भाई मेरे को 2 आंसर 3 आंसर रोज जीएस के लिखने हैं, एक केस स्टडी लिखनी है, वीक में एक एसे लिखना है, प्लस इसके साथ क्या लिखना है? 2 से 3 आंसर मेरे को ऑप्शनल के रोज लिखने हैं. और ये तो लिखना ही लिखना है, इसके साथ टेस्ट सीरीज भी करनी है. तो अगर 60% इज रीडिंग, 40% इज राइटिंग. And just like you cannot learn how to fly a plane or ride a bike by looking at somebody who is a pilot or a rider, similarly you cannot learn the art and science of answer writing just by looking at model answers or just by looking at other people's answer. You need to write, write and write. This is why it is very important and crucial that you write. Not only you write, you get that evaluated and rewrite and understand what are the fault and what are the mistakes. So general studies test series tailored to your needs, mentorship plus PYQ plus poll science, mentorship, test series, PYQ discussion, PYQ writing, and crash course to add value to your notes or to your answers, plus essay. All these things are there in our exclusive guidance program, one-stop solution. I believe that those who have cleared the mains or are going to clear the prelims this year, would understand that clearing the prelims is a blessing, and do not let go of this blessing. Do not squander this opportunity. I know many people who had given the interviews but could not get into the final list, and next year they could not even clear the prelims. So if you are clearing the prelims, get a service. Go to Labasna, go to Hyderabad, or at least Nagpur, है ना? But जाने मत दो opportunity. ठीक है? लिखो, 3 घंटे रोज लिखो. On an average 3 घंटे लिखने का मतलब है अगले 80 दिन 3 घंटे रोज लिख के 240-250 घंटे हम आंसर राइटिंग करेंगे, and we will get a call for interview and we'll get secure a rank. ठीक है? Now I'll invite Rohit sir to talk about other part of this class. Thank you so much for joining. and wish you all the best for your mains.
Good evening, everyone. So I'll be dealing with one very specific section in your mains examination, and that is your Indian society and social justice. Now, what has been observed that this particular section is a very low-hanging fruit when it comes to getting good marks and in terms of the time and effort that you have to put in to get some desirable outcomes out of it. Now, the problem is, firstly, we tend to neglect this particular section because we think that this is a very generic topic and we might end up writing fair answer, which is fine. But if you see the trend, and specifically if you see last year question paper 2024, if you combine questions from society and social justice, which is your GS paper 1 and your GS paper 2, you will realize that there were almost 12 questions in your 2024 paper. Now, this can be one of a thing, but even if you analyze the trend of last few years, you will find that somewhere down the line there are 7 to 8 questions in your paper 1 and 2 which cater to the topics of society and social justice. And the good news is that most of these times the questions are repetitive. The broad idea is you'll have to pick the theme. Okay. Now, when I say the theme, you will realize that UPSC has broadly divided topics, but there are many missing links as well. Say, for example, they have just written salient features of Indian society. This is what they have written. Now, as a layman, you will basically understand that Indian society is a traditional society, or there is a debate between modernity and traditionality, the least aspect that you will get out of it. But if you see questions that are coming, you will find they have been asking questions on something like caste. They have been asking questions on caste. They have been asking questions on role of family or the changing structure of family. They have been asking questions on religion. But again, within religion, you have two more topics which are your secularism and communalism. So that's a very standalone and specific topic that UPSC has mentioned. But in one of the questions they have asked, what is the relationship between sect, caste and religion, and how they are linked at a pan-India level and as well as at a regional level. Now, this is a very typical question. You can't chase such questions every now and then. But what you can do is you can at least learn from that question. So, UPSC asks question on relationship between sects, caste, religion and geography. Okay. When I say geography, it basically means how they operate. Like, are they regional institutions, or they are interacting at a very localized level, or you see their interaction at a pan-India level, something of that sort. Now, having come across these terms, okay, sect, caste, religion, UPSC might not ask the same question next time, but definitely they can ask some other aspect of this particular question. So our strategy here would be to go through PYQs, and especially in a thematic manner. Secondly, we will try to ensure that you write answers in the class itself. Once you are done with that, we will also look into what similar aspects can be taken care of, so that if some question belonging to a similar theme comes up in exam, you do not sit blank, you are able to write at least a fair answer out of it. Got it? So when I'm saying salient features of Indian society, it means you will have to get deeper into caste, you will have to get deeper into family. Now within family, they might ask you the question on traditional family, modern family, or for that matter, again there is one topic and it's a very broad topic. They have asked you the effect of globalization on Indian society. Okay, so they can definitely ask you how global forces or how globalization is affecting Indian family system. Is it becoming more nuclear or is it becoming more traditional? These all nitty-gritties you will have to pick up, because questions can be framed from this particular aspect. Again, if I am saying globalization, if I am saying family, today when we talk about social justice, okay, they have just mentioned vulnerable section of the society. So if we have transgender persons and all, and in recent times when transgender activism has increased, when Supreme Court has looked into the issues of same-sex marriages, etc., there can be a question on alternate family system as well. So we have to keep our eyes and ear open with regard to these emerging issues as well. Okay. So if I say they have mentioned something like society and vulnerable section, and then they have mentioned the various schemes in the social justice part in paper 2. That means you don't have to see these topics in silos. They run parallel to each other. Again, say for example, they have mentioned urbanization as one of the topic and poverty as another topic. Okay, again you can't see these two topics in silos. What they can do is they can simply ask you a question on what is urban poverty. Now once you have talked about urban poverty, you will have to go deeper and you will have to also look into various debates on decline in Indian poverty. Okay, because we have different methods, we have different ways of understanding what is poverty and what kind of schemes we have with respect to reducing poverty and all. Okay, so what we are trying to say here is that we will try to identify theme for you, we will look into the previous year questions, and based on a broader trend, how we can approach the coming examination. Say for example, 2 days back there was an article in paper Hindu, the problem of overnutrition in urban India. Now this particular topic or this particular concept of overnutrition, that can become a question, or for that matter, if not a question, that can become an answer, or that can become a case study vis-a-vis writing some good answer. Got it? So again, coming back to salient features of Indian society, we saw caste. Okay, now caste, the recent debate is on caste census. Now you'll have to be ready with what are the merits of caste census, what are the merits of caste census, how caste census can be a tool for social justice. So those linkages you'll have to build up. Now when I'm talking about census, again UPSC mentions a topic which is your population and related issues. Okay, now they has given a very broad topic here. Now in population, there is a trend that they have been asking some kinds of questions always on population. Say for example, last year they asked a question, what is the concept of demographic winter? Is the world moving towards such a situation? Now through your common sense only you can pick the broad thread that they're talking something or they're asking about some topic which is a worrisome topic. Okay, demographic winter means what? Two things. First, people getting older more. That means what? That you don't have much demographic dividend. And we can also relate one more thing here, that means your total fertility rate is declining so much that there is no young population which is coming into the scene, and more people are becoming older because they are living their longer life. Now, in this particular topic only, you can link the problem of elder population in India. ठीक है, तो आपसे vulnerable section में aging issue पे they can make some question out of it. So this is how things are linked here, and you can't skip or you can't afford to miss any of these broad themes. Okay, अब जैसे हमने यहाँ demographic winter देख लिया. Now this is a worrisome thing, but in recent times newspapers have also covered one more issue, which is your demographic silver. So we'll have to pick such threads. Then again, as I told you, we have marriage also as one of the salient features of Indian society. Now, in recent times, you must have come across the news wherein certain petitioners do challenge certain provisions of Special Marriage Act. Okay, and in last year question paper, they asked this question, that do you think that intercaste marriages are still a trend, or you can find more intercaste marriages as compared to interreligious marriages? Now, in a very generic answer, you will simply write some abstract things. But if you want to achieve, or if you want to write some good answers, then you will have to obviously bring into some structural problems which do not let interreligious marriages to take place. Say, for example, within Special Marriage Act, there is a provision to provide a notice, compulsory notice. Now, this petition, the petition was that this compulsory notice provision, it hampers our right to privacy, and at the same time, the whole logic of letting two people from different religions getting married, that becomes, or that experiences a lot of roadblock, because somewhere down the line, because of this notice period, we are not letting them to have a marriage in a private space. So all these aspects you'll have to keep bringing in to make your answer more and more contextual, more and more relevant from the eyes of an administrator. Because when you are bringing in such provisions, you are giving an idea to examiner that you know how the law works in the society, what aspects can be used for reformation, so on, so forth. Got it? So when I'm saying, or when we are saying that in your 4 to 5 days of classes of society, we will try to break down the thematic issues, we'll try to break down the expected questions, and at the same time, the value addition would be how to think, how to use data. Say, for example, there can be data from your Indian yearbook, there can be data from your economic survey, how to use those aspects. Okay, say, for example, they have just written population and given issues, but questions on the need to skill such a population to use your demographic dividend, that can become a question. How to link all those things, that we will be trying to do in our class here itself. And if you see the kind of questions they are asking, okay, they are asking questions on affirmative action, globalization, questions on secularism, communalism. Now, every now and then, every alternate year, they have been asking question on secularism and communalism. Now, if they have to twist certain things, they can make it a bit tough. Okay, they can ask you a question that why do you think that communalism is a modern phenomenon, something of that sort. So you need a little deeper understanding when you have to deal with such questions, and this is wherein we come in, and we will try to tackle such questions. Say again 2023, explain why suicide among young women is increasing in Indian society. Now, UPSC has touched upon this question of suicides, okay, and they ask it in a very specific section of Indian society. Now, if you read newspaper, you must have come across that how across quota and all, very young people are taking lives in their own hand, and they are committing suicide. Recently, Supreme Court of India observed that why this is happening only in quota. Okay, so somewhere down the line, you can expect a question not on Indian young women, urban women committing suicide. You can ask, the UPSC can ask, what are the reasons behind students committing suicide? Okay, but not since you have talked about students which are generally adolescent, they are committing suicide. Then you can, one more question which can come out of here is, what are the various schemes for adolescent empowerment in India? or what about the sexual health of adolescent in India, something of that sort. Okay, so we'll try to do this thought-breaking process in the class itself, and in the span of 4 classes minimum, we will try to look the syllabus from the broadest perspective. Okay, so you can get the details on our website, and this is how we are going to proceed, and we'll try to solve maximum questions, thematic based questions in the class itself. And from my side, the resource to read is just 2 books from your 12th NCERT, which cater to your Indian society. That is it. And all the value additions and everything that has to come from newspaper. Newspapers are your sine qua non if you want to write effective answers, if you want to write from the lens of a future administrator. So this is all from my side today, and I hope this session was helpful for you. With this, I end this particular session. Thank you for being a nice audience, and all the best. Thank you. Have a good day. Take care.